Hello, my name is Camelia and I am a social worker for HSC Romania. I have written down a few thoughts and I would like to share them with you in these challenging situations for all of us. We function now in a crisis period and we face a whole new range of challenges. We are forced to think out of the box and find creative solutions that are efficient and effective in a context of general panic and confusion. And it is difficult now to find people who are willing to involve in managing crisis situations that appear at the level of children, families, or young caregivers. The local and the county authorities function at a reduced capacity and they intervene only in emergency situations as they have limited their work in the context of the recommendations made by the central authorities. The field work is stopped now and they do not visit anymore the vulnerable communities. In this context, the families and children in crisis situations cannot meet them, therefore, and cannot ask and receive most needed support. The referrals and interventions, mostly consisting in counseling for the proper management of the crisis situations, are done now mostly by the phone. We receive, together with our colleagues in the state authorities, desperate calls coming from families who are included in our programs and families whose problems have reappeared and unfortunately are more serious now. We are talking here about single parents with one or more children who lost their jobs and cannot cover their rent costs or the basic needs for the children. We are also talking about young caregivers who also lost their jobs. Or we are talking about big families in the rural environment who had seasonal jobs and cannot find work anymore to provide food for their children. Many employers have closed their businesses and made people redundant. The allowances in these cases barely cover the rent costs and cannot cover the other needs of the families. The little money they had, if any, were already spent, and we expect, together with our colleagues, to hear more and more desperate calls from them. Up to this point, we managed to provide families and youngsters with money for their rent, and we also cover their emergency needs. We are trying to find solutions to cover their needs in terms of hygiene products or food, keeping in mind that it is difficult to reach those remote communities now with the current restrictions in place. The isolation of these families and youngsters also leads to emotional issues. There are already symptoms of panic and aggression, alcohol consumptions, and a rise in criminal behavior. The counseling is not always effective in this context, when they cannot cover their basic needs. Also, it is difficult to provide constant counseling and emotional support in these conditions. We are trying to contact them and keep in touch, especially with the most vulnerable families. With the rest of them, we are trying to talk to them on the phone and to help them calm down, to manage their fears and panic in the best way possible. However, We are as vulnerable as they are, and in danger to receive part of their panic from them or from our colleagues in the other countries. We are all waiting to get over this situation and to get into a situation of normality to a certain degree. I keep hearing and using the expression a little more and things will be alright. It has become like a mantra. It has replacing the usual greetings when people meet. Thank you very much.